Today I'm attempting to survive a challenge in a nothing Hamlet world with the goal of surviving to the apocalypse. Basically, I turned everything off. In Hamlet there's no world regrowth, making this challenge even harder. Which means all the stuff I get is in the world already. Now, I'll be lying if I said that I haven't tried this before, as my previous attempts have been filled with frustration and many hours wasted. But after a lot of trial and error, I have finally found something that works. As I spawn in, you may have noticed the food on the ground that still spawns. This includes the shop and any set piece that might still spawn. Now, because of that and the fact that the berries still spawn, this could be considered the easiest nothing world, which is true, but this keeps everything interesting. Now, my original plan was to rush the painted biome and get gold to then sell to the pygmy, but this works much better. Basically, if I attack the shopkeeper, 2 guards will come in. Both of them carry torches, which I can use to survive the night. If you're skeptical in my ability to kill these 2 pig guards, I wouldn't blame you, as I suck at this game. After eliminating the last guard, you might wonder why I didn't kill the shopkeeper and steal the 30 oink, which is because this is the only shopkeeper that will trade with relics. After killing the guards, the shop becomes unusable, which is why I didn't rob the bank. I save on my torches during the night by using the still unpatched infinite light glitch. Basically, as long as your torch is on 100% and you keep re-equipping and unequipping the torch, it will stay there forever and not lose durability. After that, I immediately go to the painted biome to find iron, which I can use to create a ball peen hammer. With the ball peen hammer, I make my way to the island. On the way, I found the jewel truffle, which I trade with the pig queen for the hammer that allows you to destroy decorations. Using the hammer and selling the few relics I managed to gather, I get enough oinks to buy a backpack. I proceed to pick the outskirts of the city clean of twigs, as this is the only way to get them early game. Along with that, I made sure to pick up anything I saw on the ground, which now means I have enough resources for a crock pot. But it's kind of limiting the amount of food you can make with only berries, which is why I'll introduce you to this amazing exploit. Basically, when you burn down the shops, a worker pig automatically spawns. Killing him gives meat and hammers. With the meat and berries, I can now make renewable meatballs. After that, I make my way up to the palace island to destroy all the decorations there for money. I also managed to kill a few pig guards for even more weapons. This is also the only place where I can get pig guards renewably. With the items collected, I finally am able to make a science machine, and since I'm playing Wiggerbottom, I don't need to craft an alchemy, as the science machine allows me to craft every item that the alchemy machine would. I chop enough wood to make a chest so I can store items more efficiently. With the gears I bought on the palace island, I also make an icebox. Using the hammer I got from killing worker pigs, I make my way to the farm plots and hammer them for grass, ending up with a massive 40 grass, which I can use for a bunch of useful stuff. I will now have to mention that grass is not renewable, so these 40 grass is all the grass I'll ever have in this world. Human season starts at day 12, but the fog and rain is turned off, which means that human season is exactly the same as temperate season. I burn the shopkeepers' houses to get the workers to spawn, which is how I get food for the entire challenge. I proceed to get scammed by the pig that sells plants because I wanted pine cones, so I can get renewable wood. I plant the pine cones, and as you can see, the tree farm is coming together nicely. After that, I make a gold pan so I can get extra gold. This is so I don't have to buy gold from the bank for 10 oinks, which is expensive. On the way, I found out that the spider monkeys still spawn, just without their nests. I finally get to the painted biome where I pan the gold from the pawns. I end up with a haul of 16 gold dust, which equals a massive 3 gold. I also use my limited grass on a drying rack so I can get easy health. Killing the pigs repeatedly causes cramps to spawn every now and then, which is kinda annoying, since their attacks are hard to dodge. If the pig starts running away while I'm attacking, I simply try to give it an item so it stops for an animation, which allows me to kill it easily. I slowly expand my own berry farm because I got unlucky with the world gem, as only 4 berry bushes spawned naturally. After a while, I realized that 1 drying rack simply isn't enough, so I built 2 more, meaning I now have 3 drying racks. Drying racks are expensive as they cost rope, and rope costs grass, which I have a limited amount of. At the end of day 15, I make my way to the ruins to mine the rocks that still spawn around the entrance. I also enter the ruins and smash the pots that give rare resources. While smashing the pots, I found the blue soul. Through the ruins, I make my way to the palace city again, because I didn't gather all the resources last time. I sell the blue soul to the queen and get the key to the city. On the way home, I find 3 mandrakes and take them. I will have to mention that there is no good way to gain sanity, so I have to brute force my way through constant insanity. I finally decide to kill the shopkeeper that trades with relics, because with the key I can build my own houses, meaning the shopkeeper will respawn. I take the 30 oinks. With all the many resources that I have collected, I make my own pig houses and the magic shop, where I can buy knight armor renewably. I proceed to move the tree farm up to the shops, so I can chop trees and kill the worker pigs at the same time. After that, I buy the miner hat, so I can work during the night. I kill the pigs that spawn in the newly created houses. They will respawn every 3 days, giving me meat and pigskin. With the pigskin I can craft even more houses for even more pigs. I build a pig tower so I don't have to go to the palace city each time I want torches and axes. For my next endeavor I need reeds. Therefore I craft a boat with my remaining grass and pick the reeds that for whatever reason can't be turned off. Before I reveal what my endeavor was for, I must mention that last season is the only season that affects me ever so slightly, as it causes strong winds, making items on the ground slide everywhere. I make my way to the palace island for a 3rd time to complete my endeavor. I buy a top hat for a decent amount of sanity. I also buy a bird trap and a piece of silk. With the silk I craft a boomerang. Using Wiggerbottom's power, I summon birds and fail horribly the first time, as it's night. I finally succeed the following morning, killing a few does and trapping a bird. With the trapped bird, I can now get infinite eggs, and with the feathers from the does, I can unlock the magic tab. The tree farm is getting so large that I lost my supply of axes, so I traveled to the palace island to get more. The process of chopping trees and killing pig gods for axes repeats itself for 10 days or so. As I said in the start of the video, I suck at this game, which means that I thought the apocalypse was on day 50 instead of day 60. This makes me prepare way too early. My preparation consists of buying healing salves and armor. I need healing salves to go through the poison jungle, because it damages you 5 health every second. As I said, the next 10 days or so are pretty boring. The only noteworthy thing I did was killing 2 tree gods and making more pig houses and more pig towers for more meat and more pigskin. Right before I leave for the poison jungle, I do the following things. First, I build a 4th drying rack using even more grass. After that, I realize that the shop where the pig that trades relics is now completely useless, so I hammer it down. With the resources from the hammered down shop, I make another normal pig house, which now means I have 7 in total. I also want you to admire my attempt at making coffee and failing horribly. With that, I am now ready for the apocalypse. With the eggs I got from the bird, I made 8 pieces of gunpowder, which I will use to explode the suspicious cracks where the apocalypse calendar resides. I reach the poison jungle and basically just wing it, trying to find the ruinous entrance. I get lucky and it's clearly, totally the correct ruinous entrance I enter. Besides picking the wrong ruin to explore, I also try blowing up the cracks immediately. If you didn't know, you normally have to go to the ruin on an entirely different island and then blow up the cracks. But as I've said many times before, I suck at this game. I blow up a wall and find 2 lazy explorers in a thalassite suit. The lazy explorers are amazing, as I now have a speed boost. Eventually, I realize that I've gotten the wrong ruins, so I go up. Because I've already used most of my healing, I spam the lazy explorer, teleporting in hopes of finding the correct ruins. After a few seconds of this, I get lucky. I make my way down to the other island, finding the other ruins and blowing up the correct wall. I'd like to remind you that it's normally day 60 the apocalypse starts, which I also realized that instant, as I can see the clock is pretty far behind. I sit on the pressure pad for a bit, activating the apocalypse. I exit the ruin and wait for the boss. As you can see, that was pretty easy, as tanking him is a viable strategy. After killing the boss, I research and craft the Void Cloak, a backpack with more inventory space that makes you invincible. And with that, I've completed the Nothing Hamlet world. I've proven you can survive, though I am curious if there was a way to get more grass. I was also kind of lazy and didn't craft everything that was possible to craft. Now I can officially delete Don't Starve until I force myself to play it again.